All right, Han Solo, Ian, is going to be directed by someone new. Does this sound familiar or kind of familiar? There was a lot of trouble with Rogue One in terms of the reshoots, and then they reshot like half the movie, it looked like, based upon the trailers and what people were saying. And now, for the second standalone film, Star Wars film, there's some trouble that's brewed.
Well, first of all, I feel like this Han Solo.
I don't want to see it. I have no interest.
I will not see this.
And he's my favorite Star Wars character. And I have this much interest.
He's not my favorite. He's a good character. But I have no interest in seeing this. I just don't need. I find him to be a fairly thin character, and I don't think.
Oh, he's not thin. I think Luke Skywalker's a lot thinner than Han Solo.
Okay, that's fair too. I mean, I like Star Wars, but really when
they're all archetypes.
Yeah, they're all archetypes.
So basically what happened was you had a tandem director of Christopher Miller and Phil Lord who were brought on board, and then a good chunk away through they completed a good part of the movie. They filmed it. Lawrence Kasdan decided behind the scenes that. Yeah, they're not right for this. This does not feel like a Star Wars film. Is basically the short end of it. This does not feel like what this should be.
Really, no shit. You hired two guys who are known for comedy to direct a movie about a guy he's not a comedic fucking character. I mean, he's sarcastic, but he's not equipped. This is not goofy slapstick.
This isn't Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Right.
This isn't that sort of tone. What's interesting about this is that Gareth Edwards, who originally directed Rogue One, when they brought in people to help him out to finish it, he was all on board with it. There was no problem. Here it seems like there was a lot of friction.
Yes.
And so Lawrence Kasdan came on set, and Lawrence Kasdan's like the best keeper of Star Wars we have left.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back. He basically helped make Empire Strikes Back as awesome as it was. Lucas was sort of like in the background.
Yeah.
And so he comes on set, and all the stories that he was trying to get them. They just wanted to film the script. Just film the script. I wrote my son wrote this fucking thing with my help. Film the script. And they like begrudgingly filmed what was there, but then had him they wanted to have the actors ad-lib, which for Star Wars is fucking strange.
Yes.
To ad-lib. That's really strange.
That's not an ad-lib movie.
That's like I can't picture a fantasy film like Lord of the Rings having ad-libs in it. It's all it's all like we're going somewhere. It's very structured. Let's not get off the beaten path. And the other problem was that it was taking them so long to set up shots, and they weren't getting the coverage. Coverage means you have the appropriate number of angles in order to actually edit the fucking scene together. Right. Not just have 2 or 3. Sometimes you have 4, 5, or 6, so you can cover up holes, or if you have to cut lines of dialogue, so it's not like an amateur film. So they're off the film. Like they're unlike Gareth Edwards, who stayed on. So basically, they're off it.
Right.
So they're bringing in Ron Howard, which is interesting because Lucas directed him in American Graffiti.
Yes.
And Ron Howard's now a big time director. And he's going to come back and try to, reshoot a chunk of this most likely. See what actually is there that works. But this is not good for the first 2 standalone Star Wars movies. They're having this much of issues. And remember, the third standalone movie, Josh Trank was fucking kicked off, and that was basically canceled for now.
God,
remember that? It was going to do like the Boba Fett movie or whatever the hell. That's gone. So they're for some reason there's been this huge disconnect between the quote unquote saga movies, which so far have been running like clockwork, and everyone's been all right. This is good, and the Last Jedi looks good so far. Versus these standalones, I'm guessing that they want these standalones to be different. And so they're wanting to take these risks, but when they're actually seeing the results, they're like, "Holy shit! Whoa, let's back up. We got to be more. We have to have a little more care with this universe." And I'm guessing that's what's happening when it's coming to these films. So unfortunately, we didn't see that quote unquote like hardcore. I still liked Rogue One a lot,
need to see it.
But I wonder what that original one would have been. Maybe less fun, maybe less fan service in the first cut of that movie, maybe more gritty, maybe even a darker ending if you can imagine for that first.
Haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it yet.
I mean, I'm fairly certain I know where it goes, but I have a feeling Gareth Edwards would have. His directing has that feel, so yes, I'm sure it would have probably been
even less hopeful than what we got. Because the word was on you heard about the Darth Vader scene in the movie.
Yeah.
The word was that was not originally in there. They put that in.
Yes.
And now that's the only thing people fucking talk about with that movie. It was a great scene. It was unexpected and a surprise, but it was fan service for sure. It was great fan service, but it was like, all right, it was
Yeah.
cool to see that, but we didn't necessarily need to see that. So this is still gonna, I think gonna come out in time this December. Oh, excuse me, it's not December. It's just this is gonna come out. I think let's see, no, December's Last Jedi, so this is gonna come out next year in May, I believe. So there you have it. We'll see what happens with this. Ron Howard, Opie's gonna take the reins, and hopefully we have some good results with it there.